Your silence awakened profound reflections in the heart of this person, and it is exactly for that reason that this message reached you today. It wasn't by chance that you found these words in this moment. There is something happening in the wings of the soul of this connection, something that perhaps you still don't manage to see with the eyes, but that already started to move of an intense form. The distance, the absence of answer, the pause that looked cold or confused, everything this provoked an effect much bigger than you imagine. An unspoken shift has taken place, and it is in the silence that truth leaves of being pushed for later and begins to echo from inside. What before this person tried to avoid, now she already doesn't manage to ignore with the same ease. And I am going to tell you a thing with all sincerity. There are situations in which silence doesn't pull away. It forces to feel. It takes out the distractions, dismantles the disculpas, and makes the mind return exactly to what the heart was trying to hide. In my vision, it is that which is happening here. This silence wasn't empty. This silence messed, provoked, bothered, and made this person think with a depth that before she didn't permit. If you are listening to this now with a heavy heart, stay with me until the end, because this message didn't come to increase your anguish. It came to show you that there exists movement where you found that only there was coldness. There exists reflection where you thought that there was indifference. And there exists an internal process happening, even if externally still hasn't appeared of the way you would like. The angels show that this person entered into a type of silent confrontation with the own feelings. It wasn't something sudden like a clairot that resolves everything in a second. It was more like a marée rising from inside by fuse, bringing memories, questions, regrets, and comparisons that she wasn't prepared to face. What before looked controlled now started to escape through the frestas of the awareness, and this left her without the same peace of before. Have you already perceived how there exist silences that speak more than 1,000 words? There are absences that turn into presence inside the mind of someone. There are pauses that make the other revisit all that lived, all that felt, and all that lost. The angels want that you comprehend exactly that. Your silence wasn't ignored. It was felt. It was interpreted. It provoked profound echoes in the interior of this person. Before continuing, write in the comments this mantra: "My silence is protected by God and reveals the truth in the right time." Write it with faith, because when the gente writes, it seems that the heart agrees with what heaven is releasing. Now, continuing the message, the angels show that this person began to record moments that before looked simple. Conversations, looks, small gestures, details of your presence, things that perhaps had passed unnoticed when everything was closer. Only now, with this absence, everything gained weight. Everything passed to have a new value. And this happens because there are feelings that only reveal themselves by entire when the other leaves of being available of the same manner. Say be what I think when I listen to a message so. I think that much people only understands the importance of a connection when feels the emptiness that she leaves, not always by moldade, not always by lack of feeling, sometimes by emotional immaturity, sometimes by fear, sometimes because the person believed that would have time of sobra to continue postponing what she felt. Only silence breaks that illusion. Silence makes the person perceive that perhaps nem tudo esteja sob controle. The angels show me that there exists a restlessness growing inside this person, a type of discomfort, emotional, that doesn't resolve with distração, routine, or pride. She tries to convince herself of that it is all well, tries to follow the day normally, tries to rationalize what she feels. But in some moments, truth rises with strength, and in those moments, it is you that comes to mind. It is your lack that weighs. It is your energy that reappears. It is what stayed badly resolved that returns asking for an answer. Perhaps you have asked yourself if this distance served to erase what existed. Perhaps in some days you have even thought that you were forgotten, that didn't have depth, that your absence didn't cause nothing. But the angels say that it caused, yes, and caused more than this person would like to admit, because silence not only opened space, it opened awareness. Take a deep breath for an instant. Place your hand on your heart and feel this message, because there is something very important that you need to know now. This person is beginning to see herself with more honesty. And this includes looking to the own errors, to the mode as acted, to what left of valuing, to the choices that made when still didn't understand the size of this connection. The angels show nights of reflection, moments in which this person tries to sleep, but the mind continues active. Thoughts going and returning, lembranças arising without convite, questions that appear in the middle of the day, a strange sensation of that some coisa ficou para trás sem realmente ter terminado. And when this type of reflection begins, there is no how to return to the state of superficiality of before. The soul already saw too much. The heart already started to recognize too much. And don't think that this happens only in the field of longing. It goes beyond. This person also begins to perceive what your presence represented. The welcome, the form as you listened, the energy that you carried, the peace that existed in certain moments, the truth that there was in the bond. Much thing that looked common passed to be rare in the comparison with the rest. And this messes deeply. Now I want to ask you for a simple but powerful thing. Write in the comments 777 as an act of agreement with this message and of openness for that the spiritual clarity reach your life. And if this message is truly helping you and you feel in the heart, can contribute with this work through the QR code of the video or by the link of donation that is in the description and in the pinned comment. This gesture helps this word to continue reaching people who also are needing direction, comfort, and hope. The angels also show that this person passed to ask herself if you still feel something, if still exists an open door, if still there is space in your heart. And I'm going to tell you, when these questions begin to appear, it's because indifference already lost strength. Nobody questions themselves so much about whomever really doesn't import. Nobody revisits so much what already was totally forgotten. An underlying dynamic is unfolding, and this person is beginning to perceive this of a deeper way. Only along with that perception comes fear. Fear of having gone far too much. Fear of that you have changed. Fear of that your absence has been a point without return. Fear of arriving and finding a woman much more conscious of the own value. And perhaps this be one of the grand internal conflicts here. This person feels the weight of your lack, but also fears discovering that lost the place that before occupied in your life. If you have already passed through something so, tell me later in the comments, because whomever already lived a connection marked by silence knows how this messes from inside, knows how, sometimes, what is not said turns into a mirror. And this mirror shows truths difficult to face. The angels want to deepen this message because there exists a layer even more sensitive behind all this. Your silence not only made this person think of you, it also made this person think of herself. Think in how loves, in how runs away, in how protects herself too much, in how building up defenses can block what could have been beautiful. And this is strong. Because the true reflection doesn't happen only about the other. She also reveals who the person is when is before a real feeling. In my vision, this is one of the deepest parts of all this, because when someone begins to see the own patterns, already doesn't manage more to sustain certain attitudes with the same tranquility. And it is that which the angels show. This person is being obliged to look to the own posture, to the own pride, to the own difficulty of feeling with truth. Silence brought that confrontation. Perhaps externally nothing still has happened. Perhaps you still haven't received the message, the explanation, or the gesture that expects. But spiritually, emotionally, and internally, there is movement. And what I am going to reveal to you now can change your form of seeing this process. This time of silence didn't serve only to make the other think. It also served to reposition you, to strengthen you, to return you presence, value, and discernment. Because the angels don't want only to show you what is happening with this person, they also want to remind you of what is happening with you. You are learning to not run behind everything, is learning to respect your limits, is learning that feeling doesn't signify erasing oneself, is learning to let that, the other, also make the own internal path. And this is amadurecimiento emotional. If you are listening to this of night in silence, perhaps thinking exactly in that person, I want that you feel that this message came to calm your heart. Not everything that is quiet is dead. Not everything that stopped from outside stopped from inside. There are reflections that happen slowly, but when mature, change everything. If you aren't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe and stay with us. Here always exists a word of faith for when the heart needs to breathe. The angels show that this person is in a phase in which small signs already mess too much. An unexpected memory, a song, a word, a place, a time of the day, anything can shoot thoughts about you. And this doesn't happen by coincidence. It's because the connection continues active in the emotional memory and also in the spiritual plane. An unseen thread still calls attention of this person, even when she tries to look distant. But still, there exists a part of this message that you need to understand. Reflection is not the same, that immediate attitude. Thinking deep doesn't signify acting fast. And this needs to get clear to not generate anxiety in your heart. The angels show feeling, restlessness, and awareness growing, but also show hesitation, fear, and internal struggle. This person can be understanding many things now, but still processes everything with difficulty. I know that not always it is easy to listen to this when the heart is tired, because whomever feels wants clarity, whomever loves wants truth, whomever expects wants definition. Only there are processes that mature from inside before appearing from outside, and sincerely, a truth that matures of truth values more than a rushed attitude and empty. It is better a real awareness than an impulse that doesn't sustain itself. The angels ask that you take care of your energy in this period. Don't transform this message into anxiety. Don't use this to trap your heart in an expectation without peace. Use this to understand that there exists movement, but that the time of heaven doesn't need to be forced. Your part now is remaining centered, strong, and protected emotionally. There is much power in that. Write in the comments a list of people, including yourself, whom you would like to forgive. Visualize each of them, send love, and say, I forgive you and I release you. May peace be with you. Feel the lightness this brings. The angels show that forgiveness will be important here, not only in relation to the other, but also in relation to what you carried in silence. Perhaps you have kept questions too many. Perhaps you have swallowed sadness too many. Perhaps you have tried to understand everything alone. And now heaven invites you to release a bit of that weight, because the reflection of this person doesn't need to turn into a prison for you. The process of the other cannot steal your peace. And it is here that much people perceive something that before didn't manage to see. Sometimes the silence that most transforms is not only the one that you offer to the other. It is the silence that returns you to yourself. It is in it that you listen to what you really want. It is in it that you perceive what you accept, what you don't accept more, what you still feel, and what you already overcame. So besides provoking reflections in this person, this silence also is refining your own awareness. The angels show me that you are less ingenuous, more sensitive, and also more strong. Perhaps still hurts, perhaps still there exists longing, perhaps still there exists hope, but there exists something different in you now. There exists more value propre, there exists more limit, there exists more perception. And this changes the energy of the connection entire, because when a woman repositions herself from inside, the other feels. Even without understanding, even without hearing a word, the angels are sending you a special sign. Your lucky number for today is 8. Write in the comments, "I receive the energy of the angels. My lucky number is 8, and I receive this message with faith." The number 8 arrives like a sign of interior strength, equilibrium, and return of that which needs to be placed in order. And I like much of this energy because she talks of firmness, talks of a woman who feels but doesn't lose herself, who loves but doesn't abandon herself, who listens to the message but continues on foot with dignity and presence. There is something important happening behind this situation. This person is being led to recognize that your silence wasn't only absence, it was an answer, it was a positioning, it was a mirror. And this mirror is showing for her what before was easy to hide, your importance. The depth of the connection and the discomfort of perceiving that perhaps has wounded or lost something rare. The angels show also a growing desire to break this distance. Still, that this desire come accompanied by conflict. This person can rehearse a message, imagine a conversation, revisit what would say if looked for you. And even when doesn't act, already there exists an internal preparation. The heart begins to build bridges before even the steps happen in the concrete world. Compartilhe this video with 2 dear people who need this message today. And if you can, leave also in the comments a prayer for your guardian angel. I believe of truth that there are messages that don't arrive only for one person. They arrive for many souls at the same time, like a hug sent from heaven. So, if this video touched you, spread that light. Sometimes, someone very near you is passing through the same type of silence and needs to hear that not all absence signifies end. Now, I want to tell you something very important, like whomever sits near you and talks with cariño. Don't let the reflection of the other turn more important than your peace. Yes, this person is thinking. Yes, this silence awakened depth. Yes, there is recognition growing, but your life cannot stop until that the other organize the heart. The angels didn't bring this message to trap you, brought to clarify you and strengthen you. So follow taking care of you, follow praying, follow valuing yourself, follow choosing yourself, because if this person returns, that find a whole woman, and if doesn't return in the time that you imagined, that still so find you in peace with whomever you turned. This also is a spiritual victory. The angels close this message saying that your silence wasn't in vain. It touched where words already didn't reach. It opened questions that this person didn't want to make. It awakened awareness, memory, longing, and truth. And still that the process be not concluded, something already changed. The reflection started, the heart was touched. And when the soul begins to think with honesty, the future leaves of being the same. If this message spoke with you, write in the comments, "My silence is in the hands of God, and the truth will come in the right time." Compartilhe your experience, like this video, and subscribe to the channel for more messages like this. Thank you for being here with me. May God bless your life, and until the next video.